We now return to Let's Play Zeus. Alright, now that this is all set to go, we need to dispatch Odysseus to acquire the cattle of Geryon. Really, that's all we need to do, right? Just send him? I think that's true. Okay, so we'll send that off. And then I had a thing. So, since we no longer have the second agora here to accept olive oil, why don't we do a half and half? Like so. And now this, we're accepting some sculpture. Let's lower this even further. And we will start to accept wheat. And we'll accept, say, 4 wheat. Although this is unnecessary. It'll stay on the trading post, so never mind that. We'll keep it at 16, I guess. This is another thing I need to work towards, is the beautification here. So I'm a little bit leery of going and conquering Troy at the moment. Troy has 4 shields. I would like to have 2 heroes before I go conquering that. I could probably get away with what I've got taking Gnosis. That would be one more water route. But the thing is, I kind of need this stuff to be going so that I can at least enjoy the tribute. Yeah, I can't change that tribute, but this has... I probably all of this would be for tribute, but I can't imagine myself using it. I suppose if I'm lucky and hit armor, or even olive oil, I can sell more of it. So anyway, why don't we go try and conquer Gnosis at the same time? Let's just empty out everything, right? Because, I mean, they're docile, though. How, I mean... We're winning a lot of games, and so that's where my respect is coming from. Philanthropic. How are they going to feel about me after I go and just conquer these guys for no goddamn reason? Because everyone else loves me, apparently, which is great. But I mean, we're basically being dicks for no reason. Although, to be fair, Gnosis did get a little uppity before making demands upon me and all of that. Yeah, what the hell? Let's just go. We have plenty of that. I think we could probably get rid of all of these guys, in fact. And definitely, we don't need Smyrna. We don't need to ruin ally support there. Do we really want to send all of these? I mean, we're not in any danger of being attacked with them gone. And we can always pay off invaders anyway. So, the answer is yes. For no reason whatsoever, in the middle of the golden age of Larissa, and really a very peaceful time for all of Greece. I guess he departs from his own little home there, or something. We decided to attack and conquer Gnosis.
I hope we see some action soon. This armor is starting to get itchy.
Okay, so there's a few things that we can start doing now. In the absence of all of this, we can do a common agora here, and let's do a right. So we'll do an inspector on this side because I can most easily. Well, actually, if I put it here, the inspector should still be within the loop, right? Because they should depart from there. Yep, excellent. Okay, that works out all right. We will probably just have a thing there. We're going to do, and by a thing I mean a beautification structure, a theater, right here, as it will cling to the end of this, and should produce somebody walking out this way. This may end up just being a very large center of beautification at the end of all this, which I suppose is alright. There's no reason not to. And what are we looking at here? We could, I suppose, do I mean, we're kind of already using column. Yeah, let's just put some
I
brick
am
in.
so thoroughly pleased. You have fulfilled my quest.
Okay, I conquered Gnosis in the same year. Minos is ashamed. Gnosis is ours. Let's go look at this. Odysseus herds the cattle. Excellent. He obtained the cattle. Artemis is going to be envious. Uh-oh. Well, we have two. Ooh. Commemorative monument of Demeter, which... Nice. That will actually complement things nicely, because we do not have a temple to her. And perhaps we could actually put her just in the middle of the city. That'd be fun, huh? People walk by, they'd get to see it. Because otherwise, where's it going to go? I mean, I could put it here, I could remove that, and it, you know, story-wise, that would be appropriate, seeing as how the Demeter statue is being tied straight to Odysseus. Let's just let that go for a moment. Conquest Monument, though, is the other thing I just got. So, Gnosis is, of course, bitter. They will buy grapes, and I'm sure I have a lot. They'll give me tribute. Let's just go ahead and give them some grapes. In fact, let's give them half of what I have, and maybe that will make them less sour towards me. How does Troy feel? Yeah, they're alright. They're like, whatever, it's on the other side of the world. Nobody else cares. Literally no one else cares. Cool. Okay, so we've got armor tribute coming in. So, back to this. Back to the thing here that is going to potentially cause me issues. Now, maybe I'd actually wanted to put this offset this way, because I will need a health structure in here. However, it's going to be pretty bad appeal, and we will accept the olive oil from Mycenae. Yeah, there's really just no good place to put this, unfortunately. I guess I could put it right in the middle and give everybody bad appeal. That's not a good idea. This has worse appeal than the theater, and I really feel like we probably could do with a monument. In fact, this is the one place where I'm actually not crowding with monuments. So let's put a conquest monument there. I'm sure the elites will love that. As a reminder, what is going on here? We are apparently missing out on a culture. And what culture would that be? Philosophers. Seem to have... Well, I did remove... did I do this on camera or off camera? I removed the college because I was having some issues. Okay. Priam is now making demands upon me, but Hermes is helping out there.
There aren't any enemies in our waters right now, but we're ready for them when they do come.
So that'll be the next conquest. We conquered that quite easily. With Odysseus in tow, I imagine we will also be pretty well off. Okay, so what are we doing here? We need more podiums, obviously, but I believe we also need more colleges. So, shall I just get down to putting it here and...
I hope we see some action soon. This armor is starting to get itchy.
I'm not really sure why these guys are going all over the place here. I feel like maybe I need to. Obviously I do need to actually get some more colleges. Let's actually look at this. I've got two colleges in the whole damn city. It's no wonder I can't keep my podiums filled in. So we'll definitely do that. And that is kind of a way I can cheat around the lack of buildings here. I can start putting in structures. We'll do a college, not on that end, but how about on this end? I know it's right next to the thing here. Probably going to have some impact on appeal, seeing as how the neighbors now will have to deal with that, and yeah, it's not very good at all. But we can always do a park. We can always do a large park, in fact. There we go. That brought that back. So let's go ahead, make sure we're doing this. After all, kind of a really crummy place. But we'll just have a small little batch. But by doing this, we ensure that everybody is going to be in here. And actually, in order to do that, we need to make sure that we also have a gymnasium. Boy, this whole thing is really just going to be terrible, ugly. But it can be offset, is the main thing. In fact, why don't we do that here? Because this will be offset along the back way. Now that it's actually, it will. Okay, good. I was concerned I was not going to be able to fit things in there. I'm just going to do something like that. I see you. Let's see how much food he actually takes. Just one slot. That's not too bad. 270 people. We are hanging out here, so it's kind of unfortunate that they are not on their way already. You see that there are some. By the time it gets there, we're not... I mean, we're consuming food really more rapidly than I'm able to get food from other locations to the Agora. And by Agora, this time I'm actually talking about the structure here of my distribution center. It's really technically the granary, but this central area is my Agora, my manufactured Agora. So this now is kind of concerning me. So perhaps what I can actually start doing is just trying for some fill-ins. Again, I'm not super behind that idea, just because it didn't work before. It was really struggling to keep up with it. Let's do some ionic columns along the back. Probably actually thinking of just making the road nicer, but we won't do that yet. Park to fill in here. And so what are we missing here? I'm missing an actor's studio. Not entirely necessary. Above average podiums. It's amazing though that that's the case. Do we really just need a podium per location? Is that what that's telling me? I mean, I guess I could, as long as I'm keeping these sort of tightened down. Another thing that occurred to me as well was maybe getting rid of some of these houses and putting down guard houses. Obviously I don't need them, but they would double down on removal of population, filling in a spot, and providing some jobs. So that would actually probably benefit me quite a bit to do so. And then these guys, I don't know what's going on there. So let's actually, we're still not producing enough philosophers, apparently. Let's actually take this one out and put that one in. And perhaps that'll have bad appeal. Then actually, I suppose people might like to live next to the guards, seeing as how that would keep their houses safe. But I would actually kind of like to put, let's see, unrest. Would like to put one within each of the blocks, and this one right here looks like a prime candidate. And what do we do here? I could put a podium down. So let's do a podium on this side, because that's kind of okay with the appeal structures. It should be anyway. Since I won't be doing fleece, I won't be enabling that, and then we'll take this and say here on this corner is where we will do that. There you go.
Thrown out of my home. What did I do to deserve this?
Okay, that brought down, all of this so far has brought down the population a bit. Tell you what, all these poor people I just kicked out of their homes will just fill right back in. So, that leaves for me basically an actor studio in this area if I want to do that. Now, this culture thing is not actually... I'm hosting the games in 5 months, because I won the last Olympics. We're now at very good podiums and very good gymnasiums and above average theaters. It's not saying anything about the production buildings. But, like I was saying earlier, we appear to be having a hard time keeping those podiums filled with lecturers. So maybe I should revisit the idea of putting another college here, putting all that here. I don't know, I think that just looks bad for what I'm trying to do. You know, I mean, I am actually trying to keep this themed, and that seems like it would just be spamming game mechanics for the sake of that, which I'm not a total fan of. Let's also, whilst we're here, bring in some water, because I need to make sure that that is going on. And we're also going to need a tax collector, so let's put that at the other end of town, why not? And I think at this point, we need an agora. So we need a food agora here. Now this is going to require all of them, seeing as how this is going to be an area that will, of course, be completely filled. So we may as well just go do that right away. Yeah, I don't know, I still feel the need to revisit this whole putting a halfway agora in there somewhere. And maybe I could put one here. That would kind of probably, like this one would probably just go there instead, which may or may not be a bad thing. I don't know, this central distribution thing was not really in the main plan at the beginning of this. I really have spammed those monuments against my initial wishes and desire to do so. You know, I did want to try and emulate a large open space for an agora. This is the best way I could do that in this game, but because of the struggle with the get and accept, this is the only way I can really effectively make sure people are getting food. However, just opening it up to more, I think, is probably going to increase a lot of things. So, the games. Can I... Good at the Olympic Games. Have an excellent chance of winning. Alright. Well, why don't we go and take this idea that I had and put a large Demeter statue right down here. We will put her perhaps a little further away. I don't know, she doesn't really... She doesn't really center very well in that. Now I could make another crossroad there. I mean, I guess I could. Alright, sure. We'll put her here. We'll make a road here. We'll go ahead and fill this with avenue. In fact, why don't we just take the whole thing and make it avenue up to this point. We'll do, you know, like a gazebo in the back. I mean, there's one right there, so that would kind of clash with it. We'll put in my... No, come back. Put in a flower garden here. Put in a flower garden here. And do a bunch of parks in the back. And there we go. There's kind of a large, hopefully offsetting amount of appeal, and it's really not. Looking at it, you would think that that would push further, but it really does not. So what am I actually missing here? 92 people, 186 coming in. Why don't we do another tower? That looks centered. And we should probably put some towers along this, because otherwise we have no defenses here. I'm just going to eyeball it. I think it's going to be further away from one tower or the other regardless. What do you mean it needs access to the... Oh, damn it. I guess it didn't... I guess I didn't do that there, but that's okay. We'll bring this here. Holy crap. bring it along the outside of the wall, which is not a super great way of running into the tower, having to go outside the city to get in there, but I would really imagine that the walls should have been the avenue for that. Like, I don't really understand the need to connect it to the wall, or to the road, but yeah, and this one just doesn't work on diagonals, so it's just there to kind of prevent anything, I suppose. It is a dead space, but we should be protected. In theory, we'd be protected from this tower right here that could shoot down into that corner, so it's fine. I could probably even put another tower up along this wall, but we will hold off on the towers for now. What else do I want to do right at the moment? How are they feeling about me? They're now loyal. So I gave them a bunch of grapes. They were like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. Way better than Minos. And we're not actually, I mean, we're not in a crisis for fleece, but the fact that we're now empty in our secondary is kind of concerning me just a little bit. Because that's now the balance. I mean, I'm not producing my own stuff anymore, as far as that's concerned, and so it's a little bit important, I guess, to make sure that we are, in fact, keeping everything supplied and ready to go. Kind of a big deal. Just a little bit. So what about getting rid of that? Sticking that there. Take an avenue. There we go. That's better. Of course, put a bench here. Put a bench there. Shall I do... How about a gazebo right here? Column? Let's do some Corinthian... Actually, we should probably do Doric. Seeing as how Doric is the theme of my industrial, I feel like Hephaestus would be better represented by those. I don't know. I mean... Tailoring the... I feel like I'm probably going to need to start using the monuments just as decorative elements, but right now I could still use them to better effect elsewhere, like here. I don't know if that's just because it's dead space that it's somewhat appealing. Like, if I start putting houses down, is that going to start filling in? I know this is going to add a considerable amount of people to the place. Probably not in a good way for me. I guess we'll do a big fish pond here. Heck yeah. So for this, what I'm thinking, rather than doing 2 blocks, because this is too big for a secondary industrial sector, and I really don't need another industrial sector. But it's too big of a space to fill in with just nonsense, and just too big of a space, or too little of a space really to cram in more housing that's completely unnecessary. So what I was thinking was maybe kind of doing like I did here, where it's a split, and so we'll end up putting the agora in the middle and all that stuff, and then kind of do a figure 8 thing, even though obviously it's going to be square, but the theory being that it would connect to all of it as per usual, and so maybe we could do something there, because otherwise I really have no idea what I want to do. Did we win the games? Games end. Came in second. Other cities thought more highly of you because of the hospitality. Okay, well, that's probably why they're loyal. Pretty wealthy though. I mean, Nexus is doing pretty good. Okay, well, I think we'll just hang on to conquering for another episode, because I need to stretch content just a little bit. Well, how about instead of another monument here, then, we just put down a big old fish pond. That leaves me enough room for an actor's studio as well. We can extend the ionic columns. We will do drama school. And hey presto. Bring in, we'll do a flower garden. Yeah, flower garden there. Park here. Park there. There we go. There we go. And how'd that do for appeal? Okay, well, I mean, obviously it's good enough. These guys strangely not enough for them. Oh well, it'll just be a mixed neighborhood, I guess. Not enough olive oil. Huh? That's not you. That's not you at all. Okay, there you are. So that adds... I mean, you are literally across the street from a fish pond. How the hell? The guy across from the infirmary evolved, but this one didn't? What in the heck? Are you kidding me? I mean, somewhat appealing, somewhat appealing. This one is neutral appeal and it evolved. Explain that, Larissa. I already made that joke, I know, but I've been hanging on to that all goddamn series. Okay. That is a reference to an old TV show called Clarissa Explains It All, for those of you that are not old like me and would otherwise struggle to understand what I just said. So I don't know. I don't know where we're at here. I guess I need to import a little bit more. I definitely don't think we need to sell more, but I can turn that on. I mean, we can find some work here for people. I mean, I could probably just go in and start selling most things, in fact. Let's go ahead and do 4 more of those, because clearly we're hard up for food. That's really weird. So, I mean, I know it allocates space, and that's why it's sending them off one at a time. It just takes so long for them to come across, and I really thought that Hermes was supposed to help with that. Fulfills requests when it's in the city. Delivery men inspired by his speed move quicker. Apparently not by much. Right, I'm selling marble. Okay. I'm just selling a lot of marble. A lot of marble that's not moving too fast, to be honest. Well, I mean, I guess this is still stable, so that's good at least. But, yeah, we're coming into a thing here where I need to make a decision on this. I could just put a couple houses interspersed, kind of like this, a little bit. And just kind of make something happen out of that. We still need to go to this, and then I want to, before closing here, I want to do something kind of like that with the Grand Agora up along this. Now, I'm going to leave a little bit of space for myself here. Maybe I shouldn't leave a whole lot of space. Interesting that that guy actually will walk all this way. I would have to close off that road if I didn't want him wandering that way. It's not a very reliable thing to be doing. But if I make this come around this way, the idea being that I could block that off, and could block that off, then I could send something to and fro from there. What about... Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly where I want to put all this stuff. We'll do, how about a couple Corinthian columns right in the front there. Yeah, because I can put a theater there. I mean, most of the space, if I really want to have anything, is going to be taken up just by those structures, destination structures. There's going to be a few houses in between. So I guess I do want a Grand Agora back here as far as possible, so that I can make that stretch a little bit more. Because I need a few houses along the way. But anyway, we'll start working on that. Maybe beautify the hillside a little bit. I want at least one elite housing unit up there, if really for nothing else than just to have one. And I suppose we could say that perhaps Perhaps this is where Gazippolis will stay. I need a manor up on the hill. And really, at the top of the hill would be best, but of course I really can't do that if I want the theater to make sure that somebody's going to walk all the way. Although if I am just going to do that, I could just put a theater right down here, because if I'm going to close off the road, he's either going to go one way or the other, since it would be a production building, or a destination building, not a production building. Okay, well, maybe we can do that after all. Just surround it a little bit differently. I don't know. Anyway, so we're slowly filling in. I just got to make some decisions here. We need to beautify Hermes' area a little bit more, obviously. And, yeah, really just kind of tighten things up and obviously conquer one more. Speaking of conquest, I can now put the pier to Gnosis down, and I guess I'd already pre-established that was going to be here, and it appears to be one further away. Yes, right there. That's where I wanted it to be, I guess. It appears to be right there next to the road, so now we can just straight up sell grapes. How about we do that? It will take forever for the grapes to get there, but we have plenty of them, and if we need be, we can definitely put people into growers' lodges and they can start sending off. So I'm okay with that. We're only accepting grapes here, but no one seems to be delivering them from there. They all seem to be coming straight from the growers' lodges. Whatever. Okay, cool. Well, we'll just continue on filling in and seeing what we can do. I'm going to end this one here, and I will see you next time.